But first tonight, things are changing fast, in case you haven't
Oh,
noticed.
it's still
Too
quiet.
fast, actually. People can't metabolize change at this pace. That's not just Fox News viewers or elderly Republican men. It's this whole species. Human beings are not designed for relentless, abrupt changes to the way they live or the way they think. And for most of human history, they didn't have to deal with those changes because they didn't happen much. Societies evolved slowly. 4th century France was very much like 14th century France. For 1,000 years, most people in France spend their lives following domesticated animals around the field and living in thatched huts. And then in the 1700s, someone perfected the steam engine and nothing was ever the same. Life for average people began to change faster and faster, and then exponentially faster. And this continued on. It continues now to the present day, a moment in which nearly every morning you awake to a brand new world. If you're over 40, you may have trouble recognizing your own country. It's just too unfamiliar. Now, the self-righteous children on social media don't care to notice this, and when they do, they dismiss it, any complaint about change, as bigotry. But it's not bigotry. It's human nature. Abrupt change causes...
Okay, here's the thing: is that like this whole minute-long intro is conflating technological advancement with social progress. For instance, like gay rights was a fight spanning decades and laid a lot of the groundwork that would be used for like trans rights today. So trans people have only become, trans people have only become like a politically, a highly politicized phenomenon only very recently. And since we already had like gay rights to piggyback onto, then a lot of the arguments that were already wrecked from jump started getting used from those type of things, like it's just gross and they're coming for your kids and it's against God and all this other shit. Like those arguments are already were already said and have already been shot down. And so it seems exponential, I guess, but not really. Like these are all the same arguments that we've heard a million times before, and so these arguments are junked immediately, and they're the arguments that conservatives have been making for decades when it comes to gay rights and interracial marriage, etc.
Causes social chaos, always. Human beings develop customs and habits and generational expectations for a reason. It's not random. Continuity is comforting to people. If you eliminate familiar things overnight, societies fracture. Populations tend to explode. We've seen that happen. The last industrial revolution, in the end, provoked armed revolutions.
Okay.
Hundreds of millions of people died. Germany got Hitler. Eastern Europe got Stalinism. Yes, we did wind up with antibiotics in the end. You could thank technology for that, and we do. But we also got genocide and atomic bombs.
Okay, cool. So we recognize that progress isn't perfect, and there's going to be some missteps, and that doesn't mean that but that doesn't mean we halt all progress, because people in the 40s are going to be uncomfortable with trans people, or like gay people, or like, because, oh no, white people marrying black people, like affording equal protections and rights to those who don't fit into the most like traditional categories might, it might be jarring for boomers. But, we've all agreed before that discomfort is not an argument against progress. White women in the 50s said all of the same bathroom shit about black women as cis women say about trans women today. Like, it's gonna be uncomfortable, but once you've taken a shit next to a woman whose massive cock and balls are hanging in the toilet water, you'll realize that you're paying a lot more attention to them than they are to you. And you'll realize that the source of your discomfort is the fact that you are paying attention, like you are so engrossed with the personal life of a complete stranger, and then you'll understand that it'll be easier to like first ignore them and then second accept them, and that kind of shit. Yeah, if you feel the need to speak out against like all this social change and whatever, then don't be surprised if people use their freedom of speech in order to signify that you're dying in the natural selection sense of social evolution. It's really easy.
There's a lesson here. If you're going to change things, go slowly. Choose the incremental over the immediate.
Okay, real quick, conservatives don't want to go slowly. Okay, They want to halt all progress until they die. They want the younger generation to grapple with these issues, and they don't want to have to participate in the tough questions. I'm pretty sure conservatives are like, we're literally saying this exact shit about civil rights in the 1960s. I'm pretty sure, okay, it was something like, these fucking Negroes need to stop asking for so many rights all at the same time. You know, go slowly. And that argument didn't fly then, and it doesn't fly now, because, I'm not entirely sure what he's talking about in particular, but maybe he'll say what's up. but at the same time, like, just being scared of change in general isn't really a good argument.
Explain yourself as you do it. Reassure people. Acknowledge the reality of evolutionary biology. It is real. Human beings are not born to be machine components. You can't just bang out improved versions of your citizens on a 3D printer.
Okay.
People in real life are complicated and stubborn and hard to control. Even the most open-minded ones get jumpy when suddenly everything's different.
Okay.
Obviously, and you'd think it would be obvious. Wise leaders would know that intuitively. If you're going to have relentless technological change, and apparently we are, you cannot inflict relentless social change and expect your society to survive. Things will fall apart if you do that. That's guaranteed.
Okay, so sure. I mean, yeah, sure. You're gonna have you're gonna have some unrest. Anytime you change anything, there are people that are gonna disagree with that. But let's just think about. I just want to think about what he's saying here. He isn't saying that social change is bad or that the direction things are going in is bad. But we all know that he thinks it's bad. But you know, he's saying that people are stubborn. That there are stubborn people that don't want to change. And I mean, this is normal. This has not been new for like 100 years. No one looked at the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and was just like, well, racism is over. We had a good run, but you know, we have to stop being racist now. Like, there were stubborn people that remained racist and are continuing to be pissed off that black people were given equal protection under the letter of the law today. So, you know, and here's the thing. The Emancipation Proclamation was signed in like 1863 or some shit. Like, there was like, so 100 years of black people not of being freed from slavery until the Civil Rights Act, and there were still people who were like not having it, who were like, no, they're giving their rights too quickly, and you know, we need to go slower, it's just happening too fast. And they said all the same shit that Tucker Carlson is saying, would be saying back in the 60s, talking about civil rights. And like, I mean, I get it. Point is, there will be woke skull leftists asking for way too much to happen, like right fucking now, for sure. I get that, and there will be an equal number of dumb fuck conservatives who are still pissed off that the gays got married, and they're going to be mad about that for all time, you know, and you know, whatever. Not everyone is going to be pleased. I'm not entirely sure I buy into this idea that social progress has become like this exponential runaway train that everyone is having trouble keeping up with. But I mean, like, look at the people in power and pay attention to what they are saying. Democrats are not pushing anything that the conservatives can't grasp. The conservatives literally just don't want any social change at all. And in fact, they want to reverse some things. There's Roe v. Wade and gay marriage are still on the chopping block. And shit, if you go into certain circles, I'm sure that interracial marriage is still on the chopping block. They fundamentally just fear change, no matter how incremental. So no, I reject this assertion by Carlson that we just have to do it slower and explain ourselves. He's lying. This is not true.
Yet that is exact.
Fuck ads, dude. God, I need to get that YouTube Premium. That YouTube Premium is so I can fucking skip ads and shit.
Doing.
Okay, hang on.
Part if you do that, that's guaranteed. Yet that is exactly what our leaders are currently doing. They're changing everything.
Everything.
Whether we like it or not. A new language, new values, new biology, new curricula, new social mores and hiring standards and body types.
Oh my God, none of these have meant anything. Sweet. He's just like vaguely pointing at things that exist. Please give me some examples, Tuck. None of these words actually mean anything. Come on, Carlson.
A brand new national population. And then, because that's still not enough change, a whole new system of government. All of that in 3 months.
What the fuck is he talking about? We have the same shit going on now that we did have 3 months ago. Like, so fucking stupid. Okay.
What will the consequences of that change, of that revolution be?
Of that revolution?
In your bones, you know the answer.
You know the answer, he says, emptily, not having said anything at all. I'm sure that the Nazis in the audience hear it loud and clear. Yes, I do know the answer. There's more brown people and degeneracy and the generous side of our Anglo-Saxon traditions and all that shit. I mean, I'm sure they hear that loud and clear. But the issue is that Tucker Carlson hasn't actually said anything. So, okay. Let me give it a shot. Tucker Carlson is on Fox News saying some crazy shit. Things that are damaging to the fabric of society as we know it. Humanity is prepared to ascend to the next step of societal progress, but Tucker Carlson says, no, we aren't ready. But if we afford people the ability to live happy and free in the United States, what might the racists and the nationalists do? I think in your bones, you know the answer. Like, does anyone I don't know how many people are in chat right now, because I got too much going on the screen, but does everyone understand how I said nothing that whole spiel? Like, I said nothing that whole time. I made some vague platitudes that, if extended to their logical conclusion, I could just dismiss it and walk it back immediately, having lost nothing at all. Like, if you Stallion Slaughter that said the Nazis are coming from the POC, and then I could go, whoa, I never said anything about Nazis or POC. I never said anything. Like, you have quite the imagination on you. Damn, I was just asking questions, like epic memes and all that bullshit. Like, I don't know. I guess 90% of people's heads are fucking empty. And if you have to give Tucker Carlson this. He's extremely talented at weaving a narrative that is vague on the surface, but extremely pointed in its message. And he's very, very good at that. He's very talented in that way.
It's terrifying. And it doesn't have to happen. What America needs now more than anything is a pause, a moment to catch our national breath, take stock, assess what just happened, a lot happened, and calmly consider the best way forward. You want unity for the country? We all do. And that might bring us unity.
Okay, I would really like to know a single thing that has happened in the last 3 months that is too much for conservatives to handle. Like, I have leftists on Twitter shitting in their fucking collective pants talking about how nothing is happening! There's nothing happening! And they're just crying constantly about that. And then you have the fucking conservatives bawling their eyes out and fucking just, like, pissing and shitting in their own pants, talking about, like, there's too much going on! I can't handle all this change at once! And so, like, I don't know. Tucker Carlson hasn't fucking said anything, and it's like nobody knows what the fuck reality is anymore. Either the lefties are right and there's nothing happening, or the conservatives are right and there is too much happening. Like, obviously it's somewhere in the middle is the correct thing, but Tucker Carlson is so fucking stupid he can't even just, like, have an argument based in reality or anything. It's fucking stupid.
But no, the kaleidoscopic barrage of unending change continues. Yesterday, they informed us they plan to dismantle the last trusted branch of our government, the Supreme Court.
Citation needed that the DNC wants to fucking dismantle the Supreme Court. Get the fuck out of here. Also, hostile takeover is fucking great. Listen, Tuck, I'm sorry we live in a democracy, my dude. Cry harder, dog. Like, Trump lost, and we hold the Senate on the most razor-thin margins. Well, you know what? You know what? Keep it up. Keep it up, Tucker Carlson. If we can get enough conservative dipshits to be fucking politically disaffected, for long enough, to keep them from, like, to have them, like, abstain from voting or whatever, then I'm here for it. They'll get fucking slaughtered in the midterms, and then the GOP can fizzle out and die, and then the left's infighting can become regular political discourse, and the obsolescence of the Republican Party is, my current goal, to be honest. Like, that is just the best way to move forward. That's the only way to, have the maximum amount of political or of social progress.
Here's a congressman from New York explaining why they're doing it. His name is Mondaire Jones. He's 33 years old. He went to Stanford and Harvard Law School, meaning that in his short life, he has produced essentially nothing. So none of it is real to him. So he's happy to blow it up. Watch.
Jesus Christ, he's poisoning the well like a motherfucker coming into this clip. All right, let's go.
Our democracy is in crisis. The insurrection on January 6th made that clear. This crisis didn't arrive overnight or by accident. The Supreme Court helped bring us here. In fact, the court has been actively dismantling our democracy for years. It gutted the protections of the Voting Rights Act and paved the way for a new era of racist voter suppression. It helped install Donald Trump in the White House, and he returned the favor by appointing more justices who are hostile to our democracy. We, the people, can break the far-right anti-democratic grip on our democracy. We can expand the Supreme Court.
There we go. That is a far cry from dismantling, okay? Also, it's so fucking funny that Tucker Carlson had to poison the well so fucking hard before showing this clip by saying this guy contributed nothing. He essentially nothing contributed to society. Unfucking real. A Stanford and Harvard law graduate is, what did he say? What did he say? What was it? What's the dude's name?
Accident.
So he's happy to blow it up. He went to Stanford and Harvard Law School doing it. His name is Mondaire Jones.
Okay, Mondaire Jones. Let's get back to where we were at.
Powerful.
Where we at? Oh, fucking ads, dude. Okay, I'll let the ads play. And let's open another screen. Let's check out Mondaire Jones. I don't know who the fuck that is, to be honest with you all. Google Corbin. Okay. You know what? Oh fuck yeah. I love autocomplete. Holy shit. Mondaire Jones. Born May 18th, 1987, as an American attorney and a politician, serving as the U.S. Representative of New York's 17th Congressional District since 2021. The district includes most of central and northwestern okay, whatever, yada yada. He and Richie Torres are the first openly gay black members of Congress. Cool. Early life and education. Jones was born in Nyack, New York. Whatever. Where he was raised by a single mother. Okay, cool. He graduated from public schools. He earned a bachelor's degree from Stanford University and Juris Doctor from essentially nothing. He worked for the U.S. Department of Justice during the presidency of Barack Obama. Essentially nothing. He worked for Davis Polk and Wardwell as a law clerk for Andrew L. Carter Jr. of the U.S. District for the Southern District of New York. For the whatever, blah, 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 blah. He also provided pro bono legal aid through the Legal Aid Society. Nothing. He's done basically nothing. Like, what the fuck? Like, what do you have to do in order to be, like, considered having contributed to society? Holy shit. In order to be considered having contributed to society and like accomplished something. Like, unbelievable, dude. Like I said, just poisoning the well for basically no reason in this case. That's kind of gross, but okay. Give me a fucking break. Anyway,
we can expand the Supreme Court.
We can expand,
and together we can finally restore government by the people instead of government by the powerful.
Okay, wait, I just want to be clear. I don't think court packing is a good idea. I don't know if it is or not, you know. I don't know. I understand that some people believe that the Trump administration has delegitimized the Supreme Court as it stands today, and some believe that packing the court would be further delegitimizing in the Democrats' favor. In my opinion, when the Supreme Court did not back Trump's failed coup attempt, like we discussed earlier with the little debate kind of thing, I feel like that that showed that they have at least some level of impartiality. And then again, it's really an extreme example, and so like I mean, I understand that from the other side that can't be used to say that, oh, well, they will actually not be on the conservative side, they're going to not be impartial or whatever. So in the end, I don't know, long story short, I'm not sure about packing the court. I honestly don't really have the answer to that question.
So the Supreme Court did the insurrection of January 6th, the QAnon court, if you will. Bet you didn't know that. Mondaire Jones didn't know it either. He was just reading what they wrote for him on the card.
God damn, really poisoning the well against this guy. Like just say, yeah, he's a fucking idiot, and he just reads shit off a card. He doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. He hasn't done anything. He hasn't contributed anything because he's brand fucking new to being an elected official in 2021, as far as I can understand, as far as I read in that Wikipedia article. And so, like, yeah, I don't know. That is so fucking shitty, dude. Anyway, go ahead. I guess it's whatever. It's whatever.
Who's the they, by the way? That was a slick video. Didn't make it in his basement. It cost money to make that video. So where'd the money come from? We'd love
them. It came from the cabal. It came from they up there, the Rothschilds or whatever.
To know, was it funded by some of the big corporations that have just finished telling us that asking people to show ID when they vote is Jim Crow racism?
No. Please, for the love of God, can we shut the fuck up about that elections bill? Holy shit. Anytime I talk to my fucking Trump supporting stepdad, like, I have to walk back so much fucking dumb shit that people say on Twitter. And not just people that say on Twitter dumb shit that fucking elected officials are getting on Fox News and just being like, this is so racist. And it's like, oh shit, dude. It's like, okay, yeah, that was really dumb, but it really is a voter suppression bill. It's like really, really bad for our democracy. Like, and then they have to go, well, who are they suppressing? It's not racist at all. And I have to be like, I know, but it's so stupid. Like, just ignore all of those claims and just look at it. It's so dumb. And then so the entire conversation around this bill is so fucking cancer because all the libs are screaming about racism and all the Republicans are like, no, it's a perfect bill with no issues whatsoever. It's absolutely great. And it's so fucking stupid.
Possible. We called around today to find out. We asked the CEO of Coca-Cola, James Quincy, and the CEO of Delta, Ed Bastian, longtime head of Amazon, Jeff Bezos, Merck CEO Ken Frazier. All of those business titans have been happy to weigh in with full force recently on what form of government the rest of us must have. It's their...
No, they weighed in on one fucking bill. Okay, in Georgia. Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. Like, every once in a while, somebody will have a tweet, right? Only recently have they had like huge and massive like action against the Republicans talking about this Georgia election bill. Okay, so get the fuck out of here with this bullshit.
Business, it's up to them now. So we wondered what their view was of turning our highest court into a legislative body.
What? Hold on.
Possible. We called around today to find out. Longtime head of Amazon, Jeff Bezos, Merck CEO Ken Frazier. All of those business titans have been happy to weigh in with full force recently on what form of government the rest of us must have. It's their business. It's up to them now.
I mean, sure. Sure. I mean, like, why not? Like, are you saying that if a business gets to be a certain size and they're not allowed to be not allowed to back certain candidates or ideas? Like, are we going to come out in opposition to like Lockheed Martin or Raytheon backing certain candidates and ideas because they feel like they're operating in their best interests? Like, guys, this is the job of politicians, is to represent their constituency. If they fuck up, they don't get reelected. Every individual votes for the candidate that they feel will act in their best interest. And corporations back certain candidates or ideas for the exact same reason. Like, this is how our democracy works. And as I have said before, the Tuck here simply hates democracy.
So we wondered what their view was of turning our highest court into a legislative body. of
That's the shit I heard earlier. Like, the Supreme Court is, in some capacity, a legislative body. Like, they are tasked with interpreting laws as constitutional or not. They are an arm of the legislative body. Like, this bullshit doesn't make any fucking sense.
making our last officially nonpartisan institution into something that is openly partisan and therefore trusted by no one.
Okay, so that's the thing, is that the argument on the other side of things is that they're saying that it is openly partisan right now, that it's so counter or so upset and balanced that it's 6-3. They're saying that that's bad and that we should rebalance it by expanding the court. So like, you're just fucking dumb, Tuck.
We can only guess what they think about that because they didn't get back to us. Apparently they're no longer so worried about democracy. Whatever Biden wants, just don't take our money. And they know where Joe Biden stands because a few days ago, the White House formed something called the Presidential Commission on the Supreme Court of the United States. The job of that commission was, we're quoting now, principal arguments in the contemporary debate for and against Supreme Court reform. It's the last phrase that matters, Supreme Court reform. That's not court packing. It's not what FDR did. It's Supreme Court reform. And the White House says it just wants to study the subject objectively. Right.
Okay. This is more of the same bullshit of just like, we need to ask questions, and it's just like whenever the Republicans ask questions, they're just like, I'm just asking questions, bro, and they fucking back off of it. But then if the Democrats go, maybe well, let's look into this court packing thing. I just think it's funny that Tucker Carlson has railed against people criticizing him for asking questions when the Biden administration is like, let's look at this wildly unpopular court packing thing and let's see what's cracking with that shit. Like, Tucker Carlson has the same type of reaction that we all have when he's just asking questions about like why some areas of the countries have dwindling numbers of white voters. Like, I'm just asking questions, bro. Like, yes, sure, the Democrats want to pack the court in order to, because they perceive that the justices they have right now won't be amicable to their aims. Like, and yeah, sure, whatever, that's the argument, but that isn't something that can be done via executive order. So democracy ensues. If it passes the House and Senate, welcome to democracy. I just think it's funny. I just think it's funny that this is like the only place, Fox News is like the only place where if elected officials representing a constituency of the United States voting on changes in the law is undemocratic, as long as you personally disagree with the changes being made. If you agree with it, then yeah, it's democracy, baby. But if you don't agree, then it's undemocratic. It's unconstitutional, or what the fuck ever. They're so fucking, it's dumb.
The purpose, obviously, is to signal that court packing now has the endorsement of the Biden White House. At a press conference this afternoon, some of the most powerful Democrats in the Congress made it very clear they've received that message.
Some people...
Okay. So they want to do a thing, and they're defending doing the thing.
will say we're packing the court. We're not packing it. We're unpacking it. Senator McConnell and the Republicans packed the court over the last couple of years, as Senator Markey outlined. So this is a reaction to that.
Okay, so that's the argument. Cool. They're defending doing a thing. This unpopular thing.
Some people might say we're packing the court. No, we're unpacking it. Woo! Props to the 23-year-old communications aide who thought of that line. That was Jerry Nadler, of course, of New York. He's the chairman of the House Judiciary Committee. Kind of a big job when you're talking about courts.
Okay, so wait, is it all New York people that are talking about this? Because if it's just New York, I could give a fuck. Like, I don't know. If it's just New York people, who cares? Because this bill is not popular. I don't know if there's any polling data that I can see or whatever. I guess I'm willing to look it up, but I don't know. But I don't think it's a popular idea.
But he wasn't there alone this afternoon. Hank Johnson was there of Georgia. Remember Hank Johnson?
Oh, of Georgia. Okay, there's one.
He's the congressman/amateur geologist who once speculated in a committee hearing that the island nation of Guam might capsize due to overpopulation. That's Hank Johnson.
Once again, we're just poisoning the well before we're showing you what they're saying. You'll be like, hey, these guys are fucking dumb. They're stupid, and they don't do anything or contribute anything to society. Who gives a fuck about the arguments against actually packing the court or whatever?
He's the best. And Hank Johnson today offered his assessment of how big the Supreme Court should be.
Ugh! I hate ads. Ads suck. There we go.
But this natural expansion stopped after the Civil War, leaving us today with the historical oddity of 13 circuit courts of appeal and only 9 justices. I believe it's time to go back to this tradition and have at least 13 justices.
I'm a New Yorker, and all we care about is the Andrew Cuomo clown show. Yeah, that's a whole thing. That is a shit show for sure. I think that dude just needs to resign. Jesus Christ, ugh. He had so much shit come out. He's just poisoned. Ugh. He's what is that called? The yogurt duck or the some, I don't know. He's weird.
Oh, at least we gotta go.
Okay, wait, hold on.
Back to before.
No.
13 justices.
Oh, at least we gotta go back to before the Civil War, says Hank Johnson. It's time to, quote, go back to tradition. Really? You wonder what other antebellum traditions Hank Johnson wants to bring back to the United States. Sadly, he didn't tell us. Until now, Hank Johnson's party had us completely convinced that all earlier American traditions were white supremacy.
Oh my God. Are we really going to do this one? Really? I mean, Carlson opened this whole bit by saying that we're changing too fast and we need to pause. But now, whoa, hold up. We need to look to the future. Time's arrow marches forward only. I mean, that's pretty interesting. But I guess more to the point, we can look to history for things for the way that things work and keep the things that worked well. Federal income tax was like it was a thing for like from like World War II or whatever, and so it kind of worked out pretty good, and so we kept it. And so if I said we had federal income tax and it's been like that for a while, and I kind of like it. I think it's working out okay. And they're like, oh, so you think Nazi Germany should come back? And it's like, no, dude, that's fucking stupid and meaningless. It's just because things were going on in a parallel doesn't mean anything. And it's, oh God, it's so dumb. It's
But somehow the one that isn't is 13 members on the Supreme Court. That's what Hank Johnson just told us.
So what? Like, sure. Can you explain how it's okay, wait a second. Tuck is either saying that literally nothing about U.S. history is fucking white supremacist, or this particular thing is white supremacist. I don't know what he's fucking trying to say. His shit is so stupid and vague, and it just doesn't mean anything. These things that he's saying. So, okay, so the 13 justices thing, how is that racist? I don't know. I can't synthesize that information and put it together in packages and give it in an argument. I don't think that's racist, right? But other things that happened in U.S. history were racist, and a lot of things like slavery branched out into other things. And so the bedrock of the country becomes white supremacy with the whole slavery thing. And this has a lot of ancillary arguments and a lot of arterial problems that come from that. 13 justices in a vacuum is probably just fine. And I don't know, it's the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard.
Now,
I know that these arguments work on stupid fuck boomers that watch this shit and just go, yep, that man who used to wear a bow tie, so smart, I just get everything he's saying. And they're dumb and stupid. And so, Jesus Christ, dude.
these people are genuinely radical. The good news is they're also stupid.
Okay, cool. So we're literally just going to go do that meme.
Congress for like 40 years stood up and repeated the same line. Only by packing the Supreme Court full of partisan Democrats can we it's hard to read this. Can we restore the legitimacy of the Supreme Court?
Cool. Okay, so people think that is whatever. People think that it's not a good idea. That the argument is that it's illegitimate right now because it has such a conservative majority. Because I want to say Trump got to pick three Supreme Court justices or something. I know he got at least two. He got Amy Coney Barrett and Kavanaugh, I think. And I don't know if there was a third one or not. I know that there's those two for sure. And so now we have like this imbalance, right? And so, yeah, I mean, look, I don't know if packing the court is a good idea. Okay, as far as I know, it's not a popular idea, and it isn't going to go anywhere without at least some support from the Senate and the House. And you could say, well, Congress is controlled by only the Democrats, but those Democrats were elected into office, and they are now representing their constituency. And if they expand the court and do whatever, and it's not popular with their voters, then they get voted out. Welcome to democracy. This is how this system works. And so, and I don't know. I think Tucker just hates democracy. I think he's literally just like doing the populist thing. And this is why whenever you have lefties that listen to Tucker Carlson, they can't tell the difference between conservative and lefty talking points out of this guy. They will hop on whatever populist bandwagon he's spouting at the time. I don't know if there's literally, I don't know. Because a lot of the fucking lefties that I see on Twitter are dumb fucks who literally just their entire argument boils down to, I hate democracy and I want to murder the shit out of all of the landlords and the rich people and billionaires, and then we want to take all their shit, and I just want the violent revolution right fucking now, and I hate that there's other people that I have to take their opinions into account. You know, fuck incrementalism. We just need to murder everyone that disagrees with us. And so, yeah, and Tucker sounds exactly the same, like is exactly that fucking stupid when he says dumb shit like this.
And I'm disappointed to say that too many Americans question the court's legitimacy. The consequence is that the rights of all Americans, but
I don't know if this has been demonstrated, that the majority of Americans think that the court is illegitimate. I don't think that this has been demonstrated. If this has been demonstrated, which it sounds to me like Joe Biden or whatever, he putting together that fucking committee trying to see if court packing is a good idea, or like see the effects of it, or see people's opinions of it or whatever. Like, it sounds like that's the correct direction to go, because I don't think that anybody's actually demonstrated that this has broad appeal.
But especially people of color, women, and our immigrant communities are at risk. We have a stilted, illegitimate 6-3 conservative majority on the court that has caused this crisis of confidence in our country.
Okay, so that's what it's about. You know, that's the argument. The Democrats are upset that the conservatives have an overwhelming majority on the Supreme Court, and they feel like their voters are tilted about this. They feel like their constituency is upset about this fact. So they're doing what they can to rectify the situation through, should I say it again? Like, democracy. Beautiful thing is democracy, okay? So, yeah.
Now, first of all, it's kind of hard to take Ed Markey, who's like pushing 100 years old, very seriously when he's talking about how we need to empower women and people of color when he's occupying a Senate seat in an overwhelmingly Democratic state. Hey, Ed Markey, why don't you resign this afternoon and give that seat to a female person of color? Oh, you don't want to do that? Because you're a liar. But the best...
Oh my fucking God, dude. This dude is so stupid. Here comes the concern trolling, and instead of actually making an argument against court packing, instead of making a case for why court packing is bad, we're just gonna we're just gonna gesture vaguely at perceived hypocrisy. Like, like no one makes the argument that we need to destroy our own lives to serve some greater purpose, or we don't care. Like, if you don't give literally 100% of your income to starving children in Africa, that means you don't care about that issue. You can't advocate for policies that will make the world a better place without having to sacrifice yourself in order to like improve literally a singular life. This argument is so fucking stupid. There is a reason why we don't give 100% of our income in little price of a cup of coffee a day increments to all of these causes while still giving a fuck. It's so stupid. God.
Part was...
People buy that shit. People hear that and go, ha, you're right. he doesn't actually care because he's not willing to give up everything he's worked for in order to improve the life of a singular person. He doesn't want to use his power and influence to change policy which would benefit literally more than a single individual. It's so stupid.
People don't think the court is legitimate, and that's why we need to pack it with Democrats. He was standing in front of a sign that said, expand the court. He wanted you to forget it wasn't that long ago that he was telling us, quote, we need 9. That meant 9 justices. Do you remember that? No, they don't want you to remember that. And that's not the only thing they don't want you to remember.
Like I said, it's going to be just vague gestures at perceived hypocrisy the whole time.
When Ruth Bader Ginsburg died, Ed Markey was one of so many Democrats who urged Republicans to respect her dying wish. Quote, Mitch McConnell has steamrolled through a confirmation hearing, going against precedent and against Justice Ginsburg's dying wish. That's what Ed Markey told us. So even from the grave, Supreme Court justices get to determine who replaces them. But now, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, rest in peace, is no longer useful to people like Ed Markey, so they want you to forget what she herself said about court packing about a year before she died.
Oh my God. Okay, so does Ruth Bader Ginsburg's fucking opinion matter or not? Like, Jesus Christ. Okay, so she said the thing. He's like, huh. So if she okay, I'm trying to be like not super fucking crass or whatever. But he's basically over here just like, bitch is dead, okay? Bitch is fucking dead. Her opinion doesn't matter. She's dead, okay? And there's like, he's saying all that shit, but then he's just all like, yeah, but look, even she was against it, okay? So either her opinion doesn't matter or it does, okay? You can't play both sides of that. It's so stupid. He's just trying to encompass as many people as possible. The people that don't give a fuck about RBG, and then the people that that do give a shit about RBG. Like, no matter no matter who you're talking to, they're gonna be enveloped into this little thing. Just be like, yep, I disagree that we should expand the court and RBG's opinion doesn't matter. And then we're going to play this clip and then just go, see, RBG's opinion matters and she was against it.
I've heard that there are some people on the Democratic side who would like to increase the number of judges. If anything would make the court appear partisan, it would be that. One side saying, when we're in power, we're going to enlarge the number.
Okay. I think she is correct, though. Okay, let's be real. I think a lot of people would see it this way, and that it would be up for the, but you know what? That's up for the constituents, the it is up for the representative of the constituents to decide. I believe that our representative democracy can handle this, okay? I think that the Supreme Court handled itself rather well through the Trump coup attempt, so I'm not sure expanding the court is a good idea, okay? But at the same time, we saw 4 years of Republicans seizing power at every opportunity without any regard for forbearance, okay? So, at this point, fuck it. You know what? Fuck it. Put it in a bill. All right? Put it in a bill, pass it to the House and Senate, and see what the fuck happens. You know? Let's just see what the fuck happens. And if you don't like it, fucking welcome to tough shit, okay? Amy Coney Barrett was appointed to that seat through the workings of our great representative democracy. A lot of libs don't like it. I don't have to like it, but it happened. So now, if the courts fudge-packed the fucking courts with shit libs through the process of our great representative democratic republic, then God bless America. Our home, sweet home, or whatever the fuck, okay? Just whatever. 4 years of seizing power at every opportunity. Fuck it. The Democrats need to just go ahead and do it. I don't give a shit anymore.
Now, at the time, it was, I think, a federal law that all Democrats had to agree with Ruth Bader Ginsburg, so Joe Biden did.
I would not get in a court package.
More gestures at perceived hypocrisy.
We had 3 justices. Next time around, we lose control. They had 3 justices. We began to lose any credibility for the court has at all.
We can go on.
Okay. They said one thing under certain circumstances, and now that they've changed what they're saying based on a completely different set of circumstances. What fucking hypocrites, am I right, guys?
John, we've got a lot of tape. These are all sound bites we can play you of Democrats telling you, no, we need 9 justices. But we're not going to. Brazen hypocrisy is starting to bore us. Yes, they are liars with no principles who will say anything for power. Got it.
No shit. Like, were you here for the last 4 years? Jesus.
Now,
Joe Biden said that he was 77 years old prior to the election. And now he's saying he's 78 years old. Which is it, Joe? You're a liar and a hypocrite for ever changing your opinion on anything ever. You said you liked the Easter Bunny 65 years ago, and now you say he isn't real. Which is it, Joe? Which is it?
in real life, the bill that we're
And another thing, yeah, they will align themselves with whatever the constituents want because that's how fucking democracy works, okay? Now, I don't think packing the court is a real popular policy. So I'm not sure it's ever going to be able to pass, and I think Joe Biden is handling it handling the in-party discussion pretty well, saying, let's study it first, let's put together a commission, let's look at it, let's have some fucking, some polls done on it, see if it's a popularity or whatever. We need to have these kind of things happening, right? And so they don't fucking waste a bunch of their precious political capital on some unpopular dog shit like packing the court, okay? So they don't want to waste all of their time on unpopular dog shit that won't pass in the first place. This is the whole force the vote Medicare for all bullshit again. It's the same type of shit, okay? So they're representing their constituents.
talking about may not pass, but the sad thing is it doesn't matter whether or not it does because the damage has already been done.
It does matter whether or not it will pass, because no matter what they say, no matter if it goes to a vote, no matter if they actually talk about it or if they advocate for it, it doesn't matter what they fucking said about any of it. They would sit here and just they would sit there and claim that they were doing it anyway. It's the same thing with like Joe Biden being a communist, okay? Joe Biden has not said anything communist at all ever in his entire life, okay? Not even fucking close. And the communists fucking hate Joe Biden, okay? But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what he says or what he does or what policies he pushed for or what studies he wants or anything like that. There's people that are going to be like, yep, he's a fucking communist. He's a communist and he wants China to rule this country and he's a communism and socialism and he's trying to kill all the landlords and the rich people and the billionaires and all this other bullshit and we're just not going to have it. And I swear to God, if Joe Biden walked out on stage one day and just said, listen, socialist revolution now, everybody grab your fucking guns, we're gonna kill literally every landlord, we're gonna start massacring these fucking billionaires in the streets, and we're gonna rape their children right in front of them, it's just gonna be a fucking heyday, we're killing everybody, this is gonna be the workers, it's just gonna be a worker state, we're gonna have the proletariat dictatorship or whatever the fuck. Like, if he said all of that shit, the Republicans would not say, wow, this is really crazy. This is really a departure from everything that Joe Biden has said before. They would literally just go, yep, called it. Even though there was no indication this was going to happen before, I knew it was going to happen. Called it, guys. Like, it's so, dude, it's such a waste of fucking time trying to say that you're not whatever the Republicans say that you are. You just have to ignore them. The obsolescence of the Republican Party is the only way forward.
We've just watched people who are paid to care about the country prove that they don't.
They're representing their constituents, Tuck!
They'd wreck the place as long as they got control of it.
They have liberal constituents up their ass advocating for this thing. So they have to say something in order to get reelected. There is one thing that every politician wants, and that is another term. So they can fucking hate this country for all I care. If they get elected and they represent a constituency in this country, I'm here for it. The United States is like a real life episode of Game of Thrones. I mean, yeah, I guess so. It's fucking dumb. and sometimes the way it works is really confusing to people, but it's really not that hard to understand. It's really very much more simple than everybody comes in and tries to assert it's being. So like whenever lefties get on here and cry about CIA and FBI and all this other bullshit, because like I swear sometimes if you replace CIA with Jew, then the lefty conspiracy theories start sounding exactly like the far right conspiracy theories. It's just a waste of my fucking time. That's why I don't want to talk about conspiracy theories and shit. I brought that other dude on earlier as a meme to sit there and just be like, yes, you are a fucking moron and you have no idea what you're talking about. And then he walks it back immediately and just starts saying, well, no, I was just clarifying what the cabal people think or whatever the fuck. It's I don't know, it's a waste of fucking time. There's no point in talking about any of that shit.
That's not a reassuring message. A lot of Americans are highly anxious right now. They're
I wonder why. I wonder if it's because of pieces like this.
distrustful, some are paranoid. They don't think that anything, none of their institutions is on the level. But instead of reassuring them that everything's going to be okay, leading Democrats just showed them that they have every reason to feel the way they do.
Nice meme.